It's a bit of a cold, nasty mess outside today, but it's supposed to be a wonderful day tomorrow. And tomorrow is the NFC and AFC championship games. I'm a big football fan. Even though my Redskins are rarely a part of the postseason, I just really enjoy postseason football. I think it's incredible. In fact, I enjoy postseason just about every sport. It's just, that's when the real winners come out and they compete and they give it all they got. I'm a big fan of competition. I'm very competitive myself. So what I was thinking was, when you have playoff football on, good time to barbecue, right? So I definitely want to barbecue, and what I decided on doing is trying to stay on the healthier side of things while also trying to have some amazing barbecue. I'm gonna do 2 chickens. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my very first comparison cook against the Tec Pellet Grill and the Star Grillz Smoker, the wood fire smoker that I just got. I'll put a link to that video up here somewhere and you can check that out. But I'm gonna do 1 chicken on one grill and 1 on the other grill. I'm just gonna kind of compare, the moisture. I'm gonna compare the flavor. I'm gonna just give an overall comparison cook. Now, for you guys out there that like to get very scientific and precise, I'm sure you'll find lots of flaws in my methods, but it's not about trying to, have some dramatic, scientific, laid out cook. It's just about, the average person cooking on these pits, what can they expect the differences to be? And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a basic cook. We're gonna treat the chickens the same way, the best that I can, without getting too deep into the weeds. And we're gonna throw them on the smokers tomorrow, not today. Today, what we're gonna do is brine these chickens. We're gonna brine them in the same bath so that they have basically the same exposure, to all the same flavors and brines, and just wanna keep them as similar as I can possibly get them. So let me show you how we're gonna do this brine. So I got a gallon of water boiling in a pot, and it's just to a little bit of a rolling boil. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put 1 cup of salt in. Okay, 1 cup of salt. And you'll probably lose the boil, but that's no big deal. It'll come back. I'm just gonna stir it to kind of get it all to dissolve. And once you've got most of the salt dissolved, then we can go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of white sugar. 1/2 cup of white sugar. I encourage you, get creative with your brines. These brines are absolutely magical when it comes to chicken. You wanna get some bold flavors in here after you get the salt and the sugar. Get that nice and dissolved. It'll come back to a boil. And like I said, get creative. Throw some bold flavors in. I'm gonna try this peppercorn garlic. And it's a marinade, so I think it'd be perfect in a brine. We're just trying to get a lot of flavor going on. Oh, that smells wonderful. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this just kind of simmer for about 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna add this. The reason I'm gonna add this is because I'm sure you guys have them too. You get these places. We have a local fire company that is absolutely famous for their barbecue chicken, and it has a bit of a vinegar flair to it. I'm sure you have some road stand barbecue stands around where they have their own unique special chicken, and everybody just kind of gets in line and waits for it and raves about it. Well, that's how this. It's a Greenwood Fire Company. They do in the summer times. They do barbecue chicken, and they're basically, famous for it. I think you can even buy their sauce there, or their marinade, or whatever it is they based it with at the firehouse when they're selling the chicken. But this is close. It's not by any means exact, but this is about as close as you're gonna get with a off the shelf type of thing from a grocery store. So when this is about 5 minutes or so simmering, and then I'm gonna add this, and then we're gonna add ice. I wanna get it down to about 40 degrees. And once I get it to 40 degrees, I'm gonna dump it into a bucket and put both chickens in them and let those chickens sit in there and bathe for 24 hours. Okay, so the chickens are both about the same size. They're within 2/10 of the same weight, 5.5 pounds. and I think the other one was 5.6 or something like that, 5.63. Really close. They've been in our brine for about 23 hours and in the refrigerator. Now, very carefully, we're gonna take them out, put one on each pan, and we're going to go ahead and apply the rub. When you take these chickens out of a bucket like that, especially when it's that full, remember that brine is in the cavity. So you need to be very careful to pick the chicken up with the head area first and let all that brine drain out. Chicken number one, and you want to put it breast up. Breast up. There we go. That's the rub we're going to use. I've had some great luck with Grill Mates rubs here recently, so I'm going to stay with it. So probably one of the best steps to getting a nice crispy skin for a chicken or a turkey is just patting the skin dry, letting it sit out in a refrigerator after you get your rub on, or today we can just do it outside. It's about 40 degrees. Just kind of let it all dry out, and that way when we put it on the smoker, it's going to tend to pull the smoke in a little better, and it's going to help give a crispier skin. I'm not sure if you can see, but right in here, there's these little punctures. What I did is I took a jacquard, and it's basically a long device, and it has a bunch of needle-like things inside of it, and you push it down and it penetrates the skin and into the meat, and that's going to help tenderize this and allow us, well, it helped that brine get in there and really get into the meat of the chicken. It's going to allow us to get more flavor inside of the chicken skin, and it's also going to help us have a crispier chicken skin. So I'm going to put a rub on the best that I can, as evenly as possible. You know, for you science guys out there, you know, please, I'm not taking the coefficient of the weight and multiplying it. You know, it's not a scientific thing like that, guys. We're looking at some simple backyard testing and try to get some results. Just normal person, guys. Normal person doing the best that I can to get you some comparison here. 5.5 pounds of chicken. We need plenty of rub. And just kind of rub it, make sure it's all nice and even, best it can. Whatever you do, never use this. These little pop-up deals, they're always wrong by like 10 degrees. Just take it out so it doesn't even, you know, tempt you to think the chicken's done or isn't done. You don't want to burn it up. Put all this effort into it. You know, just check it with a thermopit. So that's pretty interesting. I started the fire in the offset, and then right away after I got that going, I turned on the Tec. And the Tec is, it's a little bit ahead of the offset of the Lone Star Grill, but they're pretty close. As soon as these smokers are up to 250 degrees, we're gonna put the chickens on. This is gonna be awesome. I'm so excited about this. No matter what, we're gonna have some delicious chicken, but I can't wait to see the differences in the taste and the juiciness. Kind of a heavy smoke right now. When that kind of thins out to a thinner bluish type of smoke, you can start to see a little bit of the blue. Then we're ready to go ahead and put the chicken on, but we want to wait till that cleans up just a little bit. And that's, I'm just put a piece of wood on it. Anytime you put a fresh piece of wood on a fire, it's going to get a little bit dirty like that. But for the most part, we want a nice clean smoke going through there. I'm gonna put it right on the middle, up top. I'm gonna get a little bit hotter heat. but I'll be able to keep an eye on it with the gauges. Okay, so both chickens are on. We're gonna keep the temperatures about 250 degrees, and this is where the big difference happens between the RecTec and an offset, a true wood burner, and that is regulating the temperature. The RecTec's gonna do it automatically. It's just gonna be right where I set it, 250. The offset's gonna be different, and it's gonna go up and down, and I'm gonna have to regulate it with the flue. This is my second cook with this, so still gonna take a little practice, but I'm gonna put a lot of attention into it. Drink a couple beers, check the grill, drink a couple beers, just constantly checking on it, and try to get these cooks as similar as possible. Listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. If you have any preferences for video types, let me know in the comments below. Do you enjoy cooking videos? Would you enjoy some question and answer videos, equipment reviews? Let me know what you're interested in down below to help me out a lot. We're 2 hours in. Let's go ahead and take a look. So this is a little over 3 hours now, and I've had to add about 2 logs about 3 times, so about 2 logs an hour. And I'm using logs about that size, about the size of my lower arm, and about the same diameter as my arm. And it's been staying right on temp. I mean, pretty close, anywhere between 245 and 255. It's been pretty close. However, now I want to go ahead and raise the temperature up to about 350, both on the RecTec and on the offset, so I can finish these chickens a little warmer, so that way the skin will be a little bit more crispy. $150. 154. They're real close. Both grills have been really even as far as temperature. Of course, the RecTec just kind of stays wherever you put it, and right now I have it at 325. The Lone Star has been, I mean, it's pretty consistent on temperature. You add a couple logs an hour. If you watch it, adjust your vent as you need, but I mean, within 5 degrees or so is where it's been sitting of where I want it. And you see it was 320, I think, and we're aiming for 325. That bird is a little bit behind the bird on the RecTec, but I mean, just a little bit. I mean, just 4 degrees. So I'm gonna take them up to 165. Then I'm gonna take them out, whenever they get done. So if one gets done before the other, I'm taking them out at 165. I want them both to come out at the same temperature. Then I'm gonna let them rest for a half an hour, and then we'll see what they're made of. smokers. They were almost on for exact identical times. The chicken that was on the offset off the Lone Star was about 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes longer. And that was just because of the temperature variation, I believe. From looks, my opinion is that the offset chicken just is a better chicken. It smells better, but that's for me. Everybody's gonna be a little different on that. Like some people may call it burnt, but I like that. That's how I like the chicken. I like a heavy smoke content. I like a crispy skin. And just from looks, I think the Lone Star does a better job from presentation. But again, like I said, that could vary depending on your point of view. From juiciness, I definitely have to tip the scale over to the Lone Star as well. When I'm cutting it up, the Lone Star chicken was just more juicy. It just was. It didn't really come across on camera the way that I wanted to, but you know, if I'm judging it, I'm definitely giving, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10 of juiciness, the Lone Star Smoker came out to about an 8. As far as juiciness, maybe 8.5, and the Tec came out at about a 6. But really it all comes down to taste, right? And again, this is subjective, so everybody's gonna be different with this. I'm looking for a heavier smoke flavor. I'm gonna try both a piece of white meat and dark meat of each one, and I'll let you know my thoughts. This is the Tec chicken, and it's the end of the breast. It was absolutely delicious. I will say, if I have to criticize it at all, it's gonna be that it was a little bit on the dry side, and I let both of them rest for 30 minutes. And by letting any meat rest for 30 minutes to an hour or so, usually 30 minutes when you're talking about poultry, but beef and pork, you're probably gonna go a little closer to an hour depending on the size of the meat. But what you're doing is letting the juices just kind of sink back into the meat. And if you cut it right away, you're definitely gonna have dry meat. But I didn't. I let it rest for a half an hour. And the end of that breast, which makes a little bit of sense, it's right on the end and it's not protected. It's one of the first parts of the chicken to reach higher temperatures. But it still had amazing flavor. And I'd say that the skin was just a little bit chewier than what I'd prefer. I love dark meat. I'm a dark meat guy. That's delicious. I did have one of the wings a while ago, and the wings on both of them were amazing, but the wing on the Lone Star Grill was out of this world. It's probably one of the best wings I've ever had. All right, let's try the Lone Star Smoker cap of the breast. The flavor is undescribable. It's just heavy, much heavier smoke. And it's very unique. It's just full of flavor to me. And some people don't like that heavy smoke concentration, but I love it. Hickory does produce a nice, bold, spicy type of flavor, but hickory pellets versus hickory wood, it's a dramatic difference, very dramatic. I definitely prefer the Lone Star chicken over the Tec chicken when it comes to flavor. The Lone Star Smoker produced a juicier chicken. It just is. You can taste it, you can see it. It's a juicier chicken. I'm not sure on the science as to why that's the case. Maybe one of you guys can help out in the comments below with that. Overall, which one do I prefer? I think it depends on your circumstances. The Tec is gonna produce an amazing chicken. It is. It's a really, really good chicken, especially for any average home cook or home barbecue person. And you get the convenience. Like you touch the button, you set it to the degree you want, and you're done until you're pulling it off. You can count on it. It's not like that with all pellet grills, but the Tec specifically, you can count on the temperature being right where you set it. And it makes things incredibly convenient. However, the flavor, putting a log, and just something about that. You put the log in the fire and you just get a real natural environment for cooking food. It's just something that, I don't know, it's like goes all the way back to the beginning of mankind. And it's delicious. It just has that special flavor. And you just can't replicate that at all. However, like I said, it depends on your circumstances. If you need convenience, maybe you're a beginner, maybe you're on time schedules that are very tight a lot of times, you probably should go with the pellet grill. If you want flavor and you want the absolute best tasting result, no matter the work, no matter the effort, then you go with offset. And that's the only way I can kind of settle this is convenience, Rec-Tec, flavor, offset, and this is a great cook. I mean, some delicious chicken. I got like 8 pounds of smoked chicken. It's been a cool experiment, and I can't wait to do many more experiments like this where we compare cooks on the 2 different smokers. And just kind of I like to see how beef goes. I haven't done any beef on the new smoker, on the Lone Star Grill, but that may be next. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. I appreciate you sticking around for the whole video. Please share it with your family and friends if you enjoyed it. Ask me any questions in the comments, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.